Andre, how are you tonight? Welcome to Rope-A-Dope Radio.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, from the outside looking in, from a fan's perspective, can you understand why some people have been skeptical regarding from the Super 6 tournament?
You said why have some? Can I understand why people have been skeptical of what?
Of your withdrawal from the Super 6 tournament?
Depending on how you mean. If you mean skeptical on me
basically questioning the injury.
Yeah, I mean, I can't understand that at all. I really can't. You know, I'm an athlete. This is what I do. I love boxing. And for people to criticize the reason why I stepped out, I find it quite offensive. But the biggest thing for me about this whole criticism, me taking so much criticism from the boxing fans out there, or just boxing public in general, you know, I feel they're questioning the wrong one. Don't question me. Question why Arthur Abraham took the punch while I was down on all fours. That's my biggest question. But you know, I took it in stride. He hit me. I wanted to continue. I'm a boxer. This is what I do. I can't understand why some people could feel that way, but it's life. It's boxing. You have to take the criticism. You have to beat it, and you have to feed from it. You got to try to, push from there, and that's what I'm doing.
Now, in the October 30th episode of Fight Cam 360, you were asked by Showtime reporters a question regarding the name of the neurological doctor that examined you. Now, you didn't respond right away, and I believe you asked your uncle what's the doctor's name. Now, I have some experience in video editing, and it appeared to me that portion of the interview was edited. Charlene, I know you spoke with Andre recently. I'm going to ask you to explain the HIPAA law to our audience and shed some light on why Andre didn't answer the question right away and why he answered it the way he did.
Can I start with that? Possibly?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Let me just shoot from my point of view because I was actually there. I was actually 20 to 25 minutes into the interview already. They fired questions left and right at me. I've answered them. And when the 360 came on, I was quite surprised at them shooting straight for the question. Like, that's how it began. It did not begin that way. I asked every single question. But when they shot that question at me, I know my grandfather and my assistant coach, they set up the doctor, so I wasn't sure of his name. I only met him one time, and I started getting comments from Twitter like, is this guy even real? And I could see how they could see it that way because Showtime had edited a few parts, but they fired every question in the book at me, and I answered it to the best of my abilities. It was just unfortunate that it came out that way. But, like I said, all I can really do is move forward. But, I pretty much answered every question. It was pretty much like an interrogated question. That's why my grandfather stepped in and said, possibly could he get a lawyer in there because he felt like I was being interrogated. But I was willing to answer the question.
Okay. Charlie, go ahead and explain the HIPAA law to the audience, if you could.
Well, one of the things on this particular subject, because it is a subject that's caused a lot of controversy, is one of the things that I've taken a poll on with many people is if at any moment, especially in a high-pressure situation of an interview, especially by someone like Showtime, if they were asked any question, especially the name of a doctor that's not their primary doctor, something like a neurological doctor's name, could they immediately remember that name off the top of their head, especially when they have people that make those appointments for them and do the follow-up. All Andre did was do what he was told to do, and that was to get to the doctor because he was ill. Exactly. He didn't go to the yellow pages looking up a doctor's name and trying to memorize that. The poll that I ran showed that it was ridiculous. Like 97% of the people said that they could not be able to remember a doctor's name off at the top of their head, especially in a high-pressure situation that way. So for someone to think that that's ridiculous, that he can't remember it, I think it's laughable that they think he can't remember it. Now, on to the HIPAA law, some of the rumors that have been flying around everywhere is that, this reporter or that reporter or this person had, supposedly called this Dr. Shaw or called different people to try to get medical information on Andre Ward, and they were given no comment. Well, I think our society is so used to people saying no comment that they think that means something bad. In fact, what that means is that they're following the law. There's something called the HIPAA law. It stands for Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, and that law covers many things, but the most important thing that it covers is that it creates standards dealing with the privacy of health information, which helps prevent improper use of a person's medical records. I don't care if it would have been Andre's father or his grandfather or his wife. No one could have called a doctor's office and asked to get his medical records or what is the degree of his illness with and then tell them it is against the law. They would lose their medical license. They would be fined. And when I say it's a law, it is a law. This isn't just like some rule that a company made up. This is the government law. That being said, Andre Dirrell was very forthcoming with his medical information with me, and I do not have the right, nor would I ask to violate a law to get information whenever he's been able to provide that information for me. But the truth is that he did begin to have symptoms after this happened. And being a boxer and being so used to injury, and I want everyone to remember that boxing isn't ballet. It's boxing. It's easy to get injured. He's been, he's gone through so much that when he's busy or he's lost his balance or he's not sleeping properly, he's just thinking, what's going on? I'm not used to this. I'm feeling sick. And when he went to his doctor and then he was referred to a neurological doctor and they find out that he's been hit in the temple, which is the most dangerous place anyone could be hit in the head. That's not taking a right to the face. It's not being in the chin. It's in the temple. That is the softest part of the brain. Someone could immediately die from that, and they could also, it could cause a stroke, blood clot. It's very, very serious. And for it to be that serious, I can't even believe that someone would question something that serious. If anything, we need to be putting ourselves in this man's shoes and realizing what he's going through. But once he realized that, hey, I'm not good, and he went to the doctor and was referred on to a neurologist, and they found out what had happened to him, they immediately said, oh, you've got to stop. And he can tell you a little bit more about that they actually put him on a hold, not just from boxing, but from any kind of work, because of that, because we want him to get better. My gripe is that we all complain when the corners fail boxers, but why are we complaining that a corner and a team protected a champion? We need to embrace that he has a team and is surrounded by people that are smart enough and that love him, that are protecting him. He loves boxing and he wants to carry this on.
I want to cut you off for a second, real quick.
Oh, fine. I'm done with that.
This is not a quick scenario, but I just want to put this out here. I honestly can understand a lot of the criticism that I've been getting because it's really all in bad timing. If you look at it like this, Miguel Kessler, WBC champion, newly regained WBC champion, he had to back out of the tournament due to an eye problem in the middle of camp. This didn't even happen while he was fighting. This happened in the middle of camp while he was working out. That he ended up coming with an eye injury. He had to back out the tournament. Okay, people feel like the tournament is falling apart there. And then you have me getting ready to fight Andre Ward after putting myself up to the test with two undefeated world champions, a world champion and a former world champion, Carl Frost and Arthur Abraham, and I proved myself there undoubtedly. And when it was coming time to fight me and Andre Ward, everybody was waiting on this fight. This was the draw. This is what everybody was waiting for, and I had to back out. So right there, people are getting very upset because of this whole situation. It isn't just one thing. People are going to come up with excuses because it's fight time. It's what they want to see. It's time to put the gloves on, and this happens. At the peak of both of our careers, at the time we both going to really test ourselves on two superior boxers, this happens, you know. So I can understand where a lot of criticism is coming from, but people have to understand that your life comes before your career, period, point blank. And I was willing to fight. I was ready to get in the ring, ready to get it moving, but my coaches seen something was wrong. They made me go to the doctor, and we ended up in the situation that we're in now. But I believe me and Andre Ward's fight will come in due time. It's going to happen. It's just not happening when everybody wants it to happen. But I believe it will happen. I'm a boxer. I love lacing up the gloves. I'll get in there with anybody. But it was all in bad timing.
What do you think about Glenn Johnson now being in the tournament, and what did you think of his last performance against Alan Green?
I mean, wow. It was excellent. I expected Alan Green to come on super strong. You know, I did believe that it was going to be a great competitive fight. You know, Alan Green didn't get a chance to prove himself against Andre Ward. He said he lost a lot of weight. He said he wasn't feeling it that night. I'll believe him, you know. But I know at the end, on the other end, that Andre is a superior boxer. He knows how to take a boxer out of his game. So this, if any time, this was the time for him to prove himself. And he got in there, and it showed that Glenn Johnson just wanted it more. You know, he got in there. He proved himself. He proved he belonged in this tournament. I can't wait to see who he's up against next. I can't wait to see what he's going to do, man. But it was an A-plus performance from Glenn Johnson, and I'm really hoping for the best for Alan Green. But, you know, at the end of the day, Glenn got in there, and he did his job, man.
Now, what are your thoughts on the Super 6 tournament and the way it's been set up in general? Do you think that the tournament would have been better if it was single elimination, even though it wouldn't have benefited you since you lost your first fight in Group Stage 1?
Mm-hmm. I don't believe so. I mean, you're dealing with all champions here. Champion material. Coming in this tournament, it was 4 champions. Carl Froch, Jermaine Taylor, former world champion, Miguel Kessler, and hit me with it. Abraham from 160. And me and Andre Ward, we had to prove ourselves. And so you're dealing with all potential champions right there in itself. So every champion deserves to prove itself. Every champion deserves to come back from a loss. So far, every champion has proven that he belongs in this tournament. So double elimination sounds, it was perfect. It was through in there right on time. The tournament came up right on time. People say boxing was dying. I myself don't believe so. Boxing is a upscale sport. It'll always be an upscale sport. It's a gladiator sport. I mean, it's just a sport of pure science, man. You have to love it, and you're going to love it throughout life. You know, but this Super 6, you know, it couldn't have come at a better time. The double elimination, like I said, it was an excellent choice, man. We're all champions. We all deserve to get back. And we all did just that, man. So, you know, the tournament was set up perfectly.
Now, what are your thoughts on Lucien Bute's recent signing with Showtime? Is he now on your radar as a potential opponent in the future?
He's always been, actually. I mean, I want to get all the and unify all the titles, period. You know, but this is a great opportunity for Lucien Bute. It's time for him to jump on the other side of the fence. It's time for him to come and fight in front of an American crowd and show what he can do. You know, people already know that he's handling his business over there in Canada, and I know he's a great fighter and a great athlete, man. The guy has great moves, great boxing ability, and he's definitely a test for any prospect or any current champion to come. You know, so him signing over, jumping the other side of the fence was a great move for him. It's going to bolster him up that much more. And if I ever get that shot with him, then I'm going to be more than happy to have it, and hopefully we'll have a good showing.
Well, Andre, I want to thank you very much for answering my questions in these trying times. I know you're going through a lot right now, and I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks a million, man. God bless.
Oh, thank you, brother.